gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all tell me what they say.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more do you want from me?
Shooting at Atlanta Station late last night sends one woman to the hospital. This was just prior to midnight. APD telling us tonight that the person who was shot was a bystander when shots were fired by a nearby group of males.
Wow, man. So these super gremlins popping off, they busting shots, and they're hitting innocent people. What's new? I was out last night, not in that specific area, but I was outside. And it's just a damn shame that we have these types of things going on. What I will say, though, Atlanta is really good at securing the bag, okay? And what I mean by that is that where there's money to be made, that's where the police are going to be situated at. So I'm not saying that it can't get lit in Atlantic Station, no doubt, but where I was at, there was heavy police presence outside of every bar. 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 police officers. Something like this, if it happened, was not going to happen like that. All right. Like if it happened, the shooters would be apprehended immediately. In this case, an innocent woman was shot, and we don't know who's the shooters. These super gremlins are on demon time.
The woman was struck in the leg, taken to Grady. In a statement to 11 Alive, representatives from Atlantic Station wish the victim a quick recovery.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jinquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
After a chase involving state troopers overnight, according to the Georgia State Patrol, troopers tried to stop a Jeep that was speeding on 85 just before 1 o'clock this morning. But when the driver did not hit the brakes, they stopped the car using a pit maneuver. As Fox 5's Claire Sims explains, the mother of one of the men killed says her son was trying to help a wounded friend.
All right. So, young man was ejected and killed during a pit maneuver in a Jeep. He's flying down the highway. And the mom says, oh, he was trying to help a wounded friend. I mean, the facts are going to come out anyway. I get she's trying to have her own justification towards it to make it seem like he's innocent. And maybe he was. I don't know. I don't know yet, at least. That's to be determined. But from my raw reaction, wouldn't it make sense that if your friend is dying and whatnot, and he's fatally wounded, and you know that the police can, implement some emergency measures that you can't, and obviously are too ignorant to implement, then wouldn't you just pull over, hop out of the car real quick, say, I need some help, my friend, da-da-da-da. Wouldn't that make sense? As a matter of fact, wouldn't you want to flag down a police officer if he was wounded?
He comes to try to get his friend some help to get to the hospital, and then now he's gone. And now I have to bury my 18-year-old son.
Shakina Clotter says she needs answers about what happened to her son, Amarion. Clotter says the teen went to talk to a friend in his car outside their East Point apartment Thursday night, and someone opened fire.
There you have it. So he went to talk to a friend. They lit the car up, which that's insane in and of itself. And he's trying to rush his friend to safety. The thing is, dog, if the police are behind you, bro, you got to stop. You got to stop. And if he's really wounded, I'm telling you, they'll see that situation, have you put him in their car, and they'll take his behind at full speed with their sirens on, parting the seas like Moses to get that man to the hospital. So I get it, stopping may, I guess shave off, let's just say a minute and a half, 90 seconds. I'm sure that police officer could make up for that time.
His windshield riddled with bullets. Clotter alerted his mother that his friend had been shot, and he and another friend decided to drive the injured young man to the hospital. According to the Georgia State Patrol, a trooper tried to stop a white Jeep Grand Cherokee on I-85 North just before 1 Friday morning, but the driver would not pull over. Instead, they exited on Edgewood, and the injured one jumped out. Troopers say they found him with a gunshot wound to the back. GSP says the Jeep then drove back onto 7585 South and then I-20 East. That was when the trooper decided to perform a pit maneuver.
Hold on. So did he drop the friend? He already dropped the friend off? Wait, what? Wait, what?
Jumped out just before 1 Friday morning, but the driver would not pull over. Instead, they exited on Edgewood, and the injured one jumped out.
So they exited on Edgewood, the injured one jumped out, and they found him with a gunshot wound to the back. So the friend was already outside of the car. Why are you still going, bruh? Where are you going? And why are you still speeding? Why not just stop? Was the car stolen? Okay, these are questions.
Troopers say they found him with a gunshot wound to the back. GSP says the Jeep then drove back onto 7585 South and then I-20 East. That was when the trooper decided to perform a pit maneuver.
Are we at a point where this pursuit needs to come to an end before someone else is hurt, someone else's property is damaged, which is why he chose to use the pit maneuver, which brought the chase to an end.
Both the driver and the passenger were ejected from the car.
Yeah, it brought the chase and the and his life to an end. Sheesh.
And died at the scene. Lieutenant Michael Burns with the Georgia Department of Public Safety says in an emergency, the best thing to do is call 911 to alert law enforcement that you are trying to get medical attention.
If you're speeding at a high rate of speed and a trooper tries to stop you and you continue to flee, then you're going to be pursued. We're not going to just say, oh, well, maybe they're going to the hospital, they'll just go away, unless we get some kind of prior notice.
Clotter.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. It's communication, but like I said, it makes you think that there was something that they were hiding. There's got to be more details to this shooting.
Says her son was not the driver, and she's not sure why they didn't stop. But she says she needs to know more from law enforcement.
Well, why the hell didn't he have his seatbelt on? Or did he? I mean, he was ejected, so it's like, did he have his seatbelt on? And you're literally doing a high-speed chase away from police and you don't have your seatbelt on? That's wild to me.
I don't know. I wasn't there to be able to know exactly what the fear was or what was the reason that happened. I don't know, but I just want to know, could something have been prevented?
Troopers say they recovered an automatic weapon at the scene. Officials have not released the names of the people involved and say their specialized collision reconstruction team and the Office of Professional Standards are investigating the incident. Claire Sims, Fox 5 News.
Fox 5's Alex Whitler joins us live from a DeKalb police precinct. Alex, what did she tell you today?
Well, Courtney, Stephanie Hunter says she has a message for her son's killer, who right now is not in custody and is not facing any charges for his death.
He was a baby. He was 16 years old. And you took him away from me. And I have to live with it every day.
DeKalb County, y'all. I've been speaking about DeKalb County a lot. Looks like he was into Dragon Ball Z, anime guy. All right. Even though we all know that, like, in the Communitah, that's pretty much the main anime that everybody has watched. Okay. Like, like a lot of dudes will say they're into anime, but the only anime they've ever seen was Dragon Ball Z. So I just want to make that clear, because they're going to be like, oh, well, he was just wearing Dragon Ball Z. Everybody wear Dragon. Yeah, I know. Okay. But anyways, 16 years old, life cut short, no type of outrage. It's insane to me that we can have these things happen and everybody's quiet about it, and we're talking about Black Lives Matter. It's really wild.
I forgive you, but I need you to come up.
Lord have mercy. She don't even know who she's forgiving. God. Like I said, I'm all for forgiveness, and people get in my comments talking about something. Oh, well, you need to forgive and da-da-da-da, and forgiveness is in the Bible. And look, at least know who you're forgiving. Mama we don't even know who killed your son, and you already forgive him. Like, at this point, you're just forgiving an imaginary friend. And I don't want to be too hard on her, but it's just to say that I think this spirit of forgiveness is not actually a spirit of forgiveness. Okay? Just stay with me here. I think this spirit of forgiveness is not actually a spirit of forgiveness. It might be a spirit of resolve, as in she's trying to get past it. This is the healing process. And they say, oh, you got to forgive and forget and whatnot. You'll never forget something like this, man. Especially if you don't get closure. So with all that being said, as a Communitah, we need to come together. DeKalb County need to come together. And y'all know who talking on their bodies. Niggas, these dudes is talking on their bodies, man. They want everybody to know that they a killer. I'm telling you that right now. They're talking on their bodies. They're speaking on their bodies. Y'all know who killed this young man. Y'all know it. Speak up so that she can actually not only forgive, but know who she's actually trying to lend this forgiveness out. Because as a matter of fact, she don't know what else this man could be into. He could be touching little kids and all this other stuff. Y'all don't know what he's into, but you're already forgiving him.
And I need you to face whatever you need to face.
6 months without any answers.
I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened. But They need to pay. Somebody need to pay.
That's a numb Stephanie Hunter.
My son was a smart kid.
She says April 20th, her aspiring firefighter, her son, was a month shy of turning 17.
That day was the worst day of my life.
Hunter says she received a call from DeKalb County Police saying Benji Martin was found shot to death on South Deshaun Road. She says she knew he was out with friends, but didn't know what they were doing that night around 8 o'clock when someone pulled a trigger. But now, 6 months after that unexpected phone call, Hunter says she shudders at the thought of waiting another half a year for someone to say something.
They took something away from my soul. Understand that. They took my baby away from me, and it hurt every day.
Damn, man. And if that doesn't, do the trick, if that doesn't draw out your emotions, if that doesn't make you realize that we really got an issue, I don't know what will. It's everywhere. It's not just Atlanta. It's not just DeKalb County even. These super gremlins are on demon time.
You can just hear the pain in her voice there. Family says they have a $5,000 reward for anyone with information that leads to an arrest. And remember, you can reach out to DeKalb County Police anonymously with any information about this fatal shooting. Reporting in DeKalb County, Alex Whitler, Fox 5 News.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anyway.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video. All right, guys. We got to break this down. We got to break this down. We're talking about baby mama culture today. And it's getting rough. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's getting pretty rough. I've been seeing a lot of clips on Twitter. They just don't look good. They just don't look good. Okay? Things are not looking good. And we're going to break down the history. We're going to break down the history and the baby mama culture that has permeated the Communitah. And we might get to understand why we're at the place that we're at now. But I know I haven't been live for a long time, and that's because me and YouTube are discussing things in the background, and by YouTube I mean my YouTube representative are discussing things in the background. And I reapplied for monetization. Didn't change anything about my channel. I don't think there is anything that needs to be changed. I don't curse. I don't, do anything crazy on my channel. So we're going to see what happens. But what I do want to break down is I found this woman's channel, and the title of this video is Baby Mama Culture is Beneath Black Women, the Glamorization of Broken Homes. And this comes from Wild Heart Waves. She is a YouTuber. She doesn't show her face, but she does commentary over videos. So let me know if y'all are active in the chat, because every time I go live and I actually start doing something, YouTube essentially, they just stop my live chat. Okay, I see. Yeah, put a 1 in the chat if we're all good on audio and stuff like that. But the video is called Baby Mama Culture is Beneath Black Women, or the Glamorization of Broken Homes. And she makes some good points, but I think she's wrong when she says it's quote unquote beneath Black women. And I wish that it actually was beneath Black women, but I think it's something that we have normalized so often that it's incurable at this point. You can't come back from this. So she makes some really good points. I want to break them down. So let's listen up to this video and see what she's talking about.
2021, for every
All right, here we go.
in 2021, for every 100,000 live births, 32.9 of the mothers died in the United States, with Black mothers holding the highest rank for mortality at close to 70%. This is almost 3 times higher than that of white women. Likewise, the number of Black babies.
Okay, so that goes to, you know, the mortality rate of women giving birth, mothers dying while giving birth. Black women are at a higher risk. And the reason why I have always hypothesized as to why this is because, you know, our obesity rates are obviously higher than others. And I think that might even be a direct correlation to what you see in the mortality rates when it comes to childbirth between the races, because we all understand that race is really a real thing. And we're looking at the mortality rates of Black women, and, you know, per live births compared to other races, it's higher. But then what number is very similar to that? The obesity rate in the Communitah, right? So we have to extrapolate what the data are telling us, and it's telling us to lose weight, because the more weight that you gain during pregnancy, the more high risk your pregnancy is. And I'm not on here trying to act like I'm a doctor or something, but those numbers are very similar. And I wouldn't they're trying to make it seem like the doctors are just more careless when it comes to Black women. But we know that's not true, because when you go to the trauma center, when you're treated for a GSW, who are they mainly operating on? Black and brown people. Specifically, though, majority is Black men and women, children. So these doctors, they're doing everything that they can to keep your Black ass alive. The problem is they can only work with what they got. And if they're working with a vessel that is overweight and you're losing too much blood, or whatever the complications happen, maybe the head's getting stuck, I don't know. But these are all factors, okay? These are all factors. And I think that this is something that a lot of people don't like to bring up when we talk about the mortality rate when it comes to women based off of race in the U.S. I mean, it's a real thing.
Black mothers holding the highest rank for mortality at close to 70%. This is almost 3 times higher than that of white women. Likewise, the number of Black babies being born to single mothers has skyrocketed since the 90s, revealing marriage to be a thing of the past, it seems. So not only are single Black mothers dying at alarming rates while giving birth or due to post-birth complications, the majority of women that do survive are bringing babies into households where they are responsible for caring for them around the clock, with little to no help from the father of these children. Just the other day, I ran across a TikTok where a pregnant woman was expressing that she was attempting to detach from the idea of a family unit from the father of her unborn child.
Yeah, man. And this is a real thing. If you go on TikTok right now, I mean, if I just type in pregnant and single, dude, all the TikToks are coming up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got women meeting people while they're pregnant and going out on dates while pregnant and single. I mean, this is a real thing, and they're trending. People asking, who's your baby daddy? This woman, let me show you guys this one. This is a real thing. This is a real thing, man. This is fucking crazy, honestly. Excuse my French, but who's your baby daddy? That's a question that I love to ask in the comment section when I see a woman who got pregnant, you know, and I know her personally. I always be like, who the baby daddy? I usually get blocked. But yeah, she says, who's the baby daddy? So she says, who's your baby daddy? And then in the caption, it says, whenever I get asked that question, she says me. So she's saying she's the baby daddy of her own self. And then in the comments, you have a woman, no cap, this my baby. I made him on my own. I pranked my boyfriend and told him I was pregnant. He said, F no, I know better to not get pregnant by him. I always say my husband died saving a baby in a building fire, knowing I'd be lying because why they in my business. So, you know, she's a lot of women are lying about being not widows because you're not married to the person, but they're lying about their baby daddy passing away. Because a lot of times I was doing these TikTok live debates on my Reclaim Your Throne before TikTok throttled me, and they were like, they basically, how do I say? I mean, they basically throttled my content, but before then we were talking about, you know, single moms, and then some chick tried to come up here and check me, and she was like, "Oh yeah, my husband died, whatever," and she had like 9 kids. So it's like, bruh, I don't even believe he was married. But here you have another woman. She says, you think you can hurt me? I'm going through my first pregnancy alone. All right, let me show you this one. I mean, y'all think I'm playing, but then when I pull up with the receipts and the evidence, then y'all are like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, people just think I be making shit up. You think you can hurt me? Question mark. I'm going through my first and only pregnancy alone. So she's saying she's never getting pregnant again. I mean, we'll see about that. I highly doubt that. But she's going through pregnancy alone. Like Wild Heart Wave said, no support from the father. Probably because the father most likely didn't want the child in the first place. And she probably ran into a thug max individual. Okay, let's keep going.
But what caused my mouth to hit the floor was to see the countless comments from various other Black women under her post, noting that they were in the same exact situation as her. Some women on their second or third pregnancies, some who were first-time mothers afraid of the fact that they were heading into single motherhood. To see Black women, Black queens, potentially risking mortality for Dusties and lacking the awareness to understand that not every man is worth putting your body and your life on the line for, and through the powerful phenomenon that we call giving birth. It made me realize the hard truth that baby mama culture is the worst viral trend that could have ever plagued Black women in the Black community. Like, this has really become a thing, second nature to us. Bring a baby into this world and then figure out the rest later. And although many of these situations...
Yeah, you hear what she's saying, and she got receipts too. And the reason why I played a woman saying this, because they don't want to hear it when it comes from a man. So I'm going to just let her say it, because I mean, on this topic, are you a woman? Can you get pregnant? Then why are you speaking on women's business? All this bullshit. So, hey, fuck it. Let the woman talk.
Situations are different. They all ring bells of similarity in regards to how important it is for Black women to make intentional, calculated, and conscious.
That bitch, what's her name? Damn. I don't know why her name is slipping me. She had a kid with London on a track. What's that bitch name? Fuck. Oh, damn, I don't remember her name.
Conscious decisions about family planning, but more importantly, who we choose to plan our families with. Baby mama culture is beneath Black women, and we deserve more than this. You see, I look at it like the tentacles of an octopus. It has so many different arms. And it's not just one particular area of this culture that is devastating. It's
Summer Walker. Shout out to Wag the Dog. Yeah, Summer Walker.
Multiple. And I want to address some of these today. And since I recognize that there is a younger generation of Black women that is being blinded by the $20,000 gender reveals that mimic wedding receptions and the glamorization of broken homes, I felt that it was my duty to bring this delicate issue to the table so that it can be properly dissected. Now, the first order of business before we begin to break down these arms on behalf of all of the mothers and fathers within the Black community, I would like to apologize to the young women listening to the sound of my voice who were not properly educated on sex growing up. You see, many of us grew up in households where we were not given the proper tools, the proper guidebook on how to navigate our sexual health. You don't just lose your virginity and then hop out here as a sexually active teenager or woman and then know everything that there is to know about sex and the many responsibilities that come along with it. It doesn't work like that. And technically, it is the responsibility of your guardians, of your mother and father, to see to it that you are properly educated on your sexual health and reproduction. And I'm not just talking about the standard birds and the bees conversations. I'm talking about those uncomfortable conversations that all young women should be having at some point in their lives about pregnancy and abortions, STDs, how men will say any and everything to get the cookie, and the spiritual and psychological warfare that could come as a result of having sex with the wrong person. And for
I mean, she's saying all this nice stuff, right? But do you think the women give a fuck? No, they don't. Like, even coming from a woman, they like, oh, sis, you snapping, da-da-da-da. But then they going to go right back to the same shit that they've been doing. Shout out to Zoo. He put $5 on the Cash App. Shout out to Zoo with the $5 Cash App. Hey, appreciate that, bro.
For those of you that are listening that have children out of wedlock or have multiple baby daddies, I would like for you to consider extending yourself some grace while listening to this video. And while I recognize that marriage is not for everyone, there might be some portions of this conversation that will be tough to hear and some areas of accountability that will surely pull some emotions out of you. So again, please extend yourself some grace, as many of us have only done what we saw firsthand or what we were taught or not taught. Now, from an evolutionary biology standpoint, and I'm talking about thousands of years ago, men had 3 reproductive strategies or pathways, and these were more so mental reproductive strategies. And I want you all to follow along with me here. Now, the first reproductive strategy or pathway were men who traditionally invested in their offspring. So these were men that were on their nomadic trek, stumbled across a woman who in return felt like these men were worthy of a relationship. And they settled in together and began having kids. These men were fully invested in their offspring and saw to it that their children were probably taken care of. Now, the second reproductive strategy or pathway were men who were on the same nomadic trek, met a woman who allowed him to have sex and impregnate her, but she did not require him to stay or to invest into the offspring. So these men were able to continue on about their way to their next destination, never to see the woman or their offspring again.
And honestly, we have a lot of that nowadays where, like, the women, she doesn't require the man to do anything because he probably told her, hey, I wasn't wanting to have this kid. Or women will get pregnant on a one-night stand, for real. I mean, I know a couple bitches who got pregnant off of a concert, like going to a rap concert, get pregnant at the concert, or and boom, it's crazy.
But here's the catch. Men in all 3 of these pathways, if given the opportunity, though, in which a woman is fertile and capable of producing an offspring, and she does not require commitment from them in order to have sex, would jump on this opportunity. Men who can convince or find women who are willing to produce a baby, but not require them to stay or to provide any support in return.
And I'm not gonna lie, you don't have to convince or find, or I mean, any woman that you're sleeping with as a man, I mean, she's pretty much, if y'all aren't married, that's what you're signing up for. So it's not like you have to convince or find shit. If you fucking bitches, you don't have to convince them of anything. They're gonna have that child most likely, if she gets pregnant,
regardless, especially if she thinks you look good, because she gonna think the baby's gonna look cute. Like somebody said in the chat, the babies are accessories. Yeah. Strong Mermaid said the babies are an accessory. Yeah, a lot of women they think the baby's an accessory. They start putting it on TikTok, putting it on Instagram, like vlogging their single, like pregnancy and single mother life and all this goofy stuff. And they're using the baby as a prop.
To these men, when we look at this from the standpoint of evolution, it's like winning the lottery. So pathway number 1, we have men that meet women and invest in their offspring traditionally. Pathway number 2, we have men that meet women and the women do not require them to invest into the offspring. And pathway number 3, unfortunately, is rape. Now, I want you to hear me very closely here. Women who value themselves highly in reproductive terms will not jump at a sexual opportunity just because it's available. And the reason being is because what's at stake historically is so great for women. Historically, sexual interaction is basically baby roulette. And baby roulette is a dangerous game to play. I'm going to say that again. Women who value themselves.
Let's speed this up just a little bit.
Highly in regards to reproduction will not just jump at a sexual opportunity just because it's available. Because what's at stake historically is so great for women.
And yes, the type of woman that she's talking about, or the type of women that she's talking about, they're few and far between. There aren't, at least in our generation, okay, the old head women, I know I got an older crowd. So, you know, y'all done had your kids, y'all done been married or whatnot, and y'all did y'all thing. Cool. The young generations, Gen Z, they're not on that. Okay. So they're not even thinking about the future at all. They really aren't. And if they meet a cute guy and they think he's hot and he busts in her and she gets pregnant, they're keeping it. They're keeping it. Now, we could talk about abortion and all that other stuff. Yeah, it happens. But a lot of these hoes are keeping these babies too, though.
Historically, sexual interaction is basically baby roulette. And baby roulette is a dangerous game to play. Now, birth control is very toxic, not only to a woman's reproductive system, but her overall health. And I'm going to dive into this more in levels 3. But if birth control and condoms were not widely available, then essentially every time we as women lay down to have sex, we would be potentially having a baby. And I want you all to grasp the severity of this, the gravity of this. So for women playing this type of game, playing baby roulette is so dangerous because at the end of the day, when we look at these pathways, these strategies, thousands.
And see, back in the day, you didn't have to have swag as a nigga. Like you didn't have, your hairline could, look at this nigga, bro. His hairline could be on the top of his head. He still got a thin, beautiful young sister. Like when you look at these pictures, the women were very thin for one. And I mean, look at bro right here. I mean, he's not much of a looker at all. Right. And I mean, his woman isn't that either. But I mean, she's a 5. And he's, what is he, like a, I mean, he's a Malcolm. He's one of my guys, okay? A mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. I would go as far as to say that he's probably more of a medium, ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. A 3rd tier Malcolm. But I mean, you didn't really have to have swag. You didn't really have to look any type of way. As long as you were there, as long as you were present. I mean, this brother, he looks a little larger, but I mean, you think modern day hoes are going for this widow's peak? Especially black women. And if y'all go in my what's it called? My comment section. Y'all go in my comment section. They all on my hairline. And honestly, like, okay, I don't have a receding hairline and I could get my joint lined up anytime and it would be crispy. I just don't do it because it's a waste of fucking money. But, you know, if I have an event to go to or something like that, I'm going to go out and do whatever, then yeah, I'll do it. But they have a beautiful family, whatnot. And she's pretty cute. She's like a 6 or whatnot.
And I mean, his redeeming factor is his size. You could tell he's got some big old hands. He's probably, I'll say 6'2", 6'3", just looking at the way he's sitting. So he's a huge guy. But even then, hoes will judge him off of the widow's peak. Especially, like, imagine if she was in today's day and age. If she was in today's day and age, she would have 6 tattoos, a BBL, and, you know, fucking an NBA player. Straight up. And not exclusive with the NBA player neither. She just be getting toe tagged. All right. They actually kind of look very similar. Honestly, they kind of got these beady eyes or whatnot. I mean, very cute pictures. I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing for sure. But look at bro's hairline. I mean, you think a modern day black woman is going for that hairline? I'm talking about 30 and under, between the ages of 18 and 30. Fuck no, dude. This dude would be, he's an incel today. He's a black incel. The only way he's getting pussy is if he's in the streets. I'm serious. Or if he dates IR, if he dates interracial. I'm telling you right now, all that shit, nigga, hairline is so important to black women. And I mean, y'all could say, well, you a lame ass nigga. Da, 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 da. I mean, shit. If I just get a hairline and then I don't say shit and they don't hear like my voice, because like most bitches be like, oh my God, you sound white type shit. So like if they don't hear me talk, or if I put on my Atlanta swag voice, like if I really just put on my Atlanta swag voice, they really couldn't really tell the difference. Like, did I had an education, something like that? But like dead ass. If I did the hairline and then, you know, rock some bait and had the pants sagging just a little bit, I'd be eating out here. But, you know, I just can't bring myself to do it. You feel me? I just can't bring myself to do it. But the brother here, he snagged him a pretty cute chick and he has no hairline. In today's day and age, in today's dating market, he would be in a black male incel unless he was in the streets. Like he would, I mean, that's just the facts. He'd be jerking off to some random big booty bitches OnlyFans and he wouldn't have a family. That's just the facts. That's just the facts. Let me get to some of y'all comments. Man. Shout out to my guy, Romero Dubois. Hey, guys, please hit the Cash App or hit the PayPal or hit something. This channel is demonetized, and I'm trying to give you guys some content. I've been super busy, but I'm trying to get back out here. Natty Witt says the best I am expected to do. AK laughing. Georgia Swan says women can only get pregnant a few days a month. Yeah, that's true. The redacted computer says hairline could be going on vacation. That is the nuclear family. Average woman's weight in the U.S. is 180 pounds. Facts. Romero Dubois says he thick, she in shape. Yeah. Romero Dubois says she pretty. Romero says the milkman was smashing though. Right. SR. Okay. My hair is receding to my nose. The redacted computer says, fun fact, Ebonics is actually British low-class dialect. It came from poor whites in England. Okay. ATR says marrying a 8+ out of 10 is very dangerous. 6 and 7 best wives. Yeah. No one says back in the day, black dudes had shorties that look like Dorothy Dandridge. Okay. And 8 Ways says all these pictures from back in the day are nice pics. Yeah, they are. They are. He said a regular dude. Yep. A Malcolm, a mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. And this guy, he's a medium, ugly, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. Okay. I mean, the closest thing to a massively attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man would be bro right here, but I can't really tell. I can't really tell how tall he is. He kind of looks childish, but if he's like taller, then like a lot of sisters would consider him a massively attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. And then bro right here, he's almost he almost was at a massively attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable man. Hold up, sorry. Let me get back. But the widow's peak, a lot of sisters would be like on the widow's peak. They'd be like, oh, he cute, but like, what's his hairline doing? Dead ass. Bro right here, medium, ugly, lucrative, communicative, operation, likable man. So you get the point, guys. I mean, somebody said she was happy with the station wagon. Yeah, she was happy with the station wagon. Now she wants a G-Wagon. What the fuck happened?
Strategies thousands of years ago and even present day, women will always, without a doubt, be stuck with the brunt of the responsibilities in regards to raising and rearing children if the man decides to walk away. In the first Boundary Commandments video, I mentioned that one of the reasons women are wired to be more emotional was to be able to protect their children from harm's way. And while this is one of many reasons, it is clear that the same emotional wiring is what allows us as mothers to be hyper-focused on our children, along with leaving us incapable of abandoning them, no matter any outside circumstances, no matter who chooses to stay or go.
And we know that in the Communitah, a lot of these women will not only abandon their children if it's too much of a burden, but they'll go ahead and delete them. I've done plenty of stories. Shout out to Romer Dubois. He sent the $20 cash apps talking about some good content. Shout out to Romer Dubois.
Oh, say less.
Work.
And if it is the father. So let's just start there. Okay. Let's just start there. Without a doubt, when it comes to single motherhood, when it comes to baby mama culture, women will always take the full weight of the responsibility that comes along with it, whether by force or by choice. Women will always be left.
And this is this one is Eliza Rain, Future's 9th baby mama. So when we talk about who the onus is on, when we talk about who the responsibility is on, I mean, damn, yes, this is one irresponsible man who's rich, who, you know, has the money to financially support. I'm not saying being a father is solely financial support. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is financially, he can support all of those kids and outsource childcare. Now, is that ideal? No, that's not ideal. But then again, I mean, how are these billionaires moving? They're outsourcing childcare as well. And some of their kids are coming out super high earning, and some of their kids is coming out fucked up. Some of the kids is walking in their lineage and some of them not. I mean, but when you have children with the wrong woman, and most of those billionaires have children with one woman, not like 9. So that's a whole different thing as well. But you have my point is you have one irresponsible man, and you've got, I mean, I think Future's at 11 now. 11 or 9, however, it's almost 10 irresponsible women who know that he doesn't spend physical time with his children. Whether he's cutting the check or not, he doesn't spend physical time with those children.
Choice. Women will always be left to pick up the pieces if the man decides to walk away. And if the baby is the product of a situationship or a relationship that did not work out, women will still be left to pick up the majority of the pieces, because 9 times out of 10, the child will take up primary residence with a mother, leaving her responsible for the around-the-clock physical and emotional demands required to raise a child.
Okay, at first she was blocking out the kids' faces. Now she like, I don't give a fuck. It's too much editing.
What women need to get clear about is that men can always choose to stay or go. We can say it's not right. We can try to ration as to why. We can be upset, and rightfully so. But we cannot deny the facts. Men can always choose to stay or go. It doesn't make it right, but it's the reality.
Yeah, she putting all these niggas on blast. But what do all these niggas have in common? They are thug maxed alpha simps. Thug maxed alpha simps. Guys, remember this term. Thug maxed alpha simps. Okay? They got the thug swag, the physical exterior thug swag, and they're alpha to black women. I'm not saying that they're actually alpha men, because we know that they're not, and they can't be considered high value men as well, because you know, the way they live their lives. You know, they really never had to work for anything and whatnot, but they are still alpha in the eyes of black women. Okay, so they are thug maxed alpha simps who are also super gremlins on demon time.
And it's the reality of many black women within our community. Men can always choose to stay or go. You see, a woman who carries a baby in her stomach for 9 months forms a connection with that child while it's in her womb, and then brings that baby earthside, would not be as capable of walking away from the child as easily as the man can. So women can't just jump on any sexual opportunity, because the repercussions and the risk that we take with the wrong man sexually should not be taken lightly. The repercussions and the risk that we take with the wrong man sexually should not be taken lightly. And the reason why excuses and a lack of accountability cannot fly here is because in a consensual sexual relationship, a woman has full control over who she chooses to share her body and her womb with. A woman has full control over whether she chooses to share her body in an unprotected manner or not. Now, one of the biggest issues that we're dealing with present day is the fact that sex has become so accessible. And we've gotten far away from placing any type of value on it, cherishing it, looking at it as sacred activity. How many times have you or your friends casually talked about your D appointments? How many times have you heard women say that they need sex just because they haven't had it in so long?
Yeah, and I mean, who's the most promiscuous? I mean, let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. I mean, all the damn kids is coming around in Communitah. Even the biggest, like, ugliest, like, I'll see, like, the biggest, ugliest hoes, and I'll be like, damn, a nigga nutted in you. These niggas are disgusting, bro. I'll be like, what the fuck is going on?
You see, part of the reason you are seeing so many babies out here and not the same amount of weddings is because we've turned sex into a recreational habit. It's our feminine drug of choice, the antidote that soothes women, whether they know it or not, and allows them access to a brief escape from the world around us. You see, this in combination with an over-sexualized generation and the toxic media, I believe that a lot of women don't truly understand that they are having sex just for the fun of it. It's more so become a habit, more so become routine, robotic-like, the thing to do once you meet a new man. And oftentimes, a lack of confidence, low self-esteem, and seeking outside validation is entangled in a woman's need to feel like she has to satisfy a man that's not even worthy or proven himself in order to keep him around. Interestingly enough, a female orgasm is one of the highest hits of dopamine that a woman can get. In fact, it is almost 3 times higher than that of a man. And the science behind this is the number one reason we are on this earth is to procreate. And women are the vessel behind this powerful phenomenon.
Shout out to Johnny Rebel with the $2 Rumble rant. He said, check out the locals. Okay, hold up.
So a woman using her body in an unprotected manner casually, in an unprotected manner without vetting a man first, in an unprotected manner just because he spent $300 at her favorite steakhouse or whispered sweet nothings in her ear or told her she's the prettiest woman that he's ever met, is naive because when you think about it, this is the closest that a man could ever get to you. When a man is inside of you, this is the closest that he will ever get to you, the most private, the most sacred, and the most treasured place that any man can be. And trust me, they know this. This is exactly why they're willing to say and do whatever in order to get there. Sex is without a doubt a sacred energy exchange, and our attempts to again liberate it and make it casual and carefree have resulted in this current culture of baby mamahood that we all see present day. It has aided in young women believing that figuring out the details should come after.
I mean, but let's keep it a buck. That it really is like women's fault for the baby mama culture because they really are just they're really fucking the same niggas. Like there's plenty of dudes who will be faithful and be fathers and all that good shit. They don't want them niggas. That really is the truth.
To the baby, that figuring out marriage and the financial stability should come after the baby, and who this man truly is should come after the baby. And the way in which we treat our cookies like hot pockets, playing musical chairs, has resulted in women now leaving one relationship.
Oh, and let me go back to this one. NBA YoungBoy welcomes 11th child at 23. This, I guess she's Blasian, black and Asian. NBA YoungBoy knowingly he has herpes. He has an incurable STD, and women are still having his kid. And then you complain about, oh, well, mortality rates. You know that if you contract herpes and you're having a child, you have a high risk of mortality when giving birth. That shit is, and they don't even think about it. And I'm not saying that she has herpes for sleeping with him, because apparently you can not, I'm not saying you can only exchange it during a flare up, but it's rough out here, y'all. It's rough out here. And the STD's only been going up since the pandemic. There was just a report that, was it like a 50% increase in positive STD test, something like that. Somebody pull the article up, correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, this man, he's just fucking shooting that that infected jizz all up into, I mean, a lot of his baby mamas are ugly as fuck, but this one, I ain't gonna cap, he did catch him a baddie, and he busts that damn herpes infested semen all in her, and she's having the baby happily. Look at her smiling. She been rubbing her belly and all types of shit. This woman's gonna have to have a fucking C-section, spitting out that herpes baby. She's literally got, I mean, am I right or am I wrong? Do we have any medical professionals in the chat? I'm not saying that she has herpes, but if she did have herpes, there's no way she can shoot that thing out her vagina, right? She would have to have a C-section. And that puts your body at more risk. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a successful C-section, but shit. Okay? I mean, let's keep it a buck. This is not an intelligent move. And it's the women who are doing this because she could have, let's keep it a buck. She bad enough. She could have found a different guy. If she really wanted to get pregnant by a baller, she could have found some NBA player, like a nigga who was actually in the NBA, not just a nigga with NBA in his rap name. You dig?
Hot Pockets, playing musical chairs.
And what if that baby come out with like some type of, oh man, I mean, it's just crazy.
Has resulted in women now leaving one relationship, going into the next and the next with a new baby in tow every time, all different fathers. But you know, that's not even the worst part. The worst part is the glamorization of it all, the acceptance of it all, the complacency of it all, the broken homes of it all, the attempt to make this more beautiful than what it truly is, to dress it up in designer at $20,000 gender reveals and glistening engagement style rings with no engagement, luxury push presents to celebrate dysfunction, wedding style photo shoots without a marriage in sight, normalizing 12 kids and 6 different sets of broken homes because of money. And
she got Nick Cannon out on that bitch. Yeah, I mean, Nick Cannon is building he built his ass a fucking roster. I mean, Jesus. He built his ass a damn roster. But, you know, I mean, after the second, third, fourth, a lot, these women are signing up for the Nick Cannon baby mama carousel, if you will. They're signing up for it. So, and he's apparently taking care of them. I think he pays like $1 million in child support a month. A month. I mean, he couldn't be me, but
status and hall passes to their faves because they don't fit into society's mold of what a baby mama should quote unquote look like. And the most important one of them all is the fact that real babies, real little human beings are being born into this mess, are being born into this dysfunction. You see, while we're making selfish decisions to satisfy our pleasures and fetishes, not vetting men and refusing to take accountability for our actions and learn from them so that we can get better, we're bringing children into our mess. We are robbing them of stability. Black women love to bring up every excuse in the world as to why marriage is not important. Yes, we know that all marriages don't work out. Yes, we know that marriage is not for everyone. We don't have to continue to state the obvious. But when it comes to stability, there is no question or doubt in regards to the benefit that marriage brings to Black children. Nuclear families are advantageous to Black children. They provide a strong support system, and more importantly, are proven and consistent with established daily routines. Children are able to witness firsthand conflict resolution from a person of the same sex as them and a person of the opposite sex as them, which is important for them to see. It is proven that fathers of intact families, on average, spend more time with their families. They're not bumping around from house to house, being spread thin financially and emotionally with 3 kids and 3 different baby mamas in 3 different households. When Black children grow up in homes with 2 parents who have been married continuously, they are less likely to experience a wide range of problems academically, socially, emotionally, and cognitively, not only in childhood, but later in adulthood as well. These households also lessen the chance of children growing up in poverty. They give children access to more economic and community resources because the parents are able to pool their time, their money, and their energy together. So the children tend to be more of the focus of the household. And catch this. Family intactness has shown to have a consistent and positive influence on the earnings for prime age males, which means that men that are married and in these type of nuclear setups are going to be more driven to go out here and get to the bag because they know that they have a wife and kids back.
Well, and I do want to make the point, you know, okay, married men make more than single men. Yes, that is true, but then you have to compare like how much money is going out too. Yeah, you have to make more when you have a wife and kids, but you're also spending more. So how much are you really keeping? Because I mean, honestly, I'd rather be single and live check to check than married with kids and live check to check, because now you have this extra responsibility. And if one thing goes wrong, you're in debt. Whereas shit, if I'm single, living check to check, I'm worried about myself. Maybe I got a girl, maybe I got two, and I'm just doing me. And you don't really have that that responsibility. You know, it's really getting tough to justify, especially being a young guy. For one, it's tough to choose what woman you're actually gonna quote unquote build a family with, have kids with, whatnot. And then it's also tough to justify doing it if you're already living a successful life, you know, by yourself. But anyways, that's that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother time.
Home to provide for them. Now let's get into the girls.
Let's talk about how 2 days before they're gonna inject the baby in me, you make me go get this tattoo.
Oh yeah, I broke down this this story on my Reclaim Your Throne channel. Basically, this is NLE Choppa's 29 or 26-year-old girlfriend. He's like 20. They met when he was 18, going on 19. She got finessed by a young rapper. Obviously, he had hella money. He's a multimillionaire. But like I said, we don't consider rappers high-value men because they didn't have to have any type of business savvy or business acumen to earn their wealth. He just had to act like a nut and make decent songs. Okay, so that's neither here nor there. But anyways, he basically paid for an IVF for this woman because they had a miscarriage, and then he felt bad apparently, and then he paid to get her IVF shit, gave her a baby, and now he's just like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? You deal with the pregnancy on your own. Apparently, she went to 31 doctor's appointments without him, and he didn't show up to one. I mean, it's almost like he just paid her off with a baby or something, and she expects him to be like some supportive father. But, I mean, if you listen to the guy's music, there's nothing in there that talks about being any type of father figure or any type of role model for his child. So I really don't understand why these women, they don't listen to the music. Like, don't you hear that he says, I like cars that go vroom, vroom. You know, before I cuff that bitch, got to throw that ass back. I mean, he literally has a song that he just dropped, which is, I like the song. It's called I Like. And actually, you know what? I'll go to Rap Genius. We'll read the lyrics, and I'll show you how dumb these hoes are, honestly. So here's the nigga's lyrics. I like cars that go vroom, vroom. I like bitches that go, and then he claps twice. Before I cuff that bitch, gotta throw that ass back. I like money that go ching, ching. I like diamonds that go bling, bling. My trap phone going ping, ping. I like guns that go fa, fa. I like ops that go ba, ba. When you murk an op, you say ha, ha. I told you guys about the op culture. So not only is he talking about before he commits to a woman, she's got to throw that ass back, which is fornication, premarital sex. He's also talking about killing other black men, because you know these black men's ops are not white men. They're not Hispanic men. I mean, sometimes maybe in prison, but in the streets, not so much. The ops are other black men. He says, when you murk an op, you say, ha, ha. So laughing about killing a black man. Interesting. He said, I like bitches that go, before I cuff that bitch, gotta throw that ass back. Let's read the verse. Let's read his only verse on this song. The song is about 1 minute 52 seconds. He says, A, new money, or old hundreds bundled up inside a trap bag. Niggas funny coming for me. Well, I got some for they bitch ass. Okay? Saying he has some for those niggas bitch ass. Early morning, late nights, still clutch a pipe with extended mag. Sent the warning for he took flight, knocked his wig off, Joanna Man. So talking about, I mean, Joanna Man is technically a trans woman. So he's talking about shooting a trans woman. Do you think his song got demonetized on YouTube? Do you think his music gets censored? No. Top of the YouTube music charts. Well, that's another conversation for another time. Niggas say I'm pussy, but I fuck them over like pussy. Roll a nigga in a fat wood. We can nickname him Tootsie. I guess he's talking about a Tootsie Roll. Check the forecast real quick. Made it rain inside Tootsies. This is a strip club. So the objectification of women. She is a bottle girl. I'm gonna show you who this bitch is. She's a bottle girl. What's her name? Marissa Dene. So she knows exactly what happens when niggas make it rain inside Tootsie. And he's literally saying, make it rain inside Tootsie. I mean, he's got some other extremely vulgar songs as well that I can break down. But yeah, I mean, this woman is a bottle girl. Hold on, let me show you. I mean, she's bad. I ain't gonna cap. She's bad, but she is a manufactured bitch. She's got lip injections. Definitely lip injections. I'll take a guess and say a BBL. You can see the tattoos. So that's a main indicator that she has gotten a BBL because they want to cover up those scars. I mean, she's hot for sure, but definitely not wifey material. Definitely not. But yeah, she's a beautiful young lady, and she is older than him, and she still couldn't see the signs, even though she works in the club and deals with hustlers all the time, and even hustles men. We all know these bottle girls. That's why I don't really feel bad for her, because I mean, let's keep it a buck. Most people know that bottle girls aren't good people. They finesse men, and they be capping about a lot of shit. They lie to men. They take men's money. And not in a I mean, obviously there are consensual transactions, but yeah, sometimes they are definitely stealing from these men, and they don't care. So I don't feel bad for her for getting finessed by NLE Choppa, honestly, because for one, you didn't read one of his lyrics, and then also she says, okay, fill the bowl up full of shake, he bought it, nigga, no way. And then he said, dumbass man. So he's talking about He's basically talking about selling weed to another black man and then finessing him. See, this is why you can't do business with niggas. That's why you can't do business with niggas. Because you think you're in a hand-to-hand consensual transaction, right? And the nigga got half the bag full of shake. And he's bragging about this and calling the other black man a dumbass. Finger fuck the K before I pop him. Call it foreplay. Like Central C, how can I be homophobic? My stick gay. Okay. So he's saying that his weapon of choice, which they call a stick, all right, is gay. Meaning that, well, he says in the next verse, it likes to touch niggas before I do. Hey man, that shit cray. So he says his stick, meaning his gun, likes to touch niggas, meaning other black men, before he actually even puts his hands on them. Then it goes back into the hook. I like cars that go vroom vroom. I like bitches that go, before I cuff that bitch, gotta throw that ass back. So she obviously did not secure commitment. She had a chance. She had a sign from God, which was that miscarriage, to walk away. And how much you want to bet that, I mean, let's keep it a buck. You live in the fast life, working in the club, drinking, smoking, doing coke, doing X, doing Molly. You think that affected the pregnancy? See, this is what they don't talk about when it comes to the mortality rate of the sisters. Because I know a lot of bitches who continue to drink when they're pregnant. A lot. A lot. A whole lot.
Or you said that you was going to call the doctor and cancel it. Remember that? Remember that? You lying. You're a liar. You're a liar. We made a deal. And the deal was you asked me to have this baby.
Y'all be weak in the knees. Stand up. Stand up.
God damn, where's your pride, bitch? Fuck. I get it. You want to vent. Don't do it online. Shit. You look like a damn fool.
Marissa, girl, my good sis, always pressed and stressed about NLE Chopper, has pretty much chased behind this man during their whole situationship.
And why does she like him?
Refuses to see that.
Why does she like him? One, look at the hairline. You think if this nigga had a receding hairline, she'd be crying over this nigga? Fuck no! And that's the beauty of it all. He is a thug, maxed, alpha, simp. Thug, maxed, alpha, simp. He's a thug, maxed, alpha, simp. That's why she likes him. Because he dresses like a thug. He acts like a thug. He is alpha to other black women because he's thug maxed. And he is a simp because of the way that he deals with women. Thug, maxed, alpha, simp. And he took her heart and pulled it out of her fucking chest. And now she's hurt. And now she's left with a full stomach and a mind full of stress and a broken heart.
This man does not want her nor value her. Pregnant last year and went through a miscarriage and then had the nerve to ask this man. Yes, I said ask this man for another baby through IVF.
Yep.
Just for him to continue the same shenanigans that he has been on since day one.
And like I said, that miscarriage was a sign from God. That was your chance to walk away. That was your chance to walk away. And then let's not mention the fertility issues of a 26-year-old woman. When, what do these women say? Oh, I'm going to just put off pregnancy. I'm going to put off pregnancy. You had to have assisted. If he wouldn't have paid for that IVF, which is a $30,000 procedure, you would be barren. And that's the facts. She couldn't have a natural birth. She tried. And how much you want to bet she had previous abortions? See, we don't talk about this mortality rate. When you are a woman and you have an abortion, for one, it hurts your fertility. And then for two, it increases the likelihood of mortality during pregnancy if you ever get pregnant again. Nobody talks about that. But how many abortions are black women really getting? See, we talk about all these things about, okay, it's the system, it's white supremacy. Nah, not really. It's poor life health choices. Now, if we want to pull an example of white supremacy, yeah, we can. We can do that all day. But then we can also pull examples of personal responsibility and accountability. See, it works both sides. And that's how I am. And that's why they don't fuck with me, because I give it up on both sides.
This man is bopping around the city with another woman right now while Marissa is pressed, stressed, and dealing with premature contractions.
Premature contractions in an IVF. Watch they baby come out with a foot coming out that damn mouth. You're going to have a baby with a foot as a tongue. That baby going to be like, I like God, go real good. I like this is go Fuck up, bitch, go ass back. No, just kidding. We love the kids. Y'all know we love the kids. But I mean, let's keep it a buck. You stressing. Well, I got this motherfucking tattoo. Because of your ass. You made me get this damn tattoo. Baby, he didn't make you get no damn tattoo. Yo, dumb ass got that damn tattoo. Yo, how the fuck are these bitches confused? Yo, dumb ass got that damn tattoo. It's crazy. And I'm telling you right now, the reason why she's having pregnancy complications, I guarantee, is because all them years working in the club. It's because all them surgeries, them BBLs. Baby, once you get a BBL, shit, you fucking up the pipeways. The freeway is, you putting a traffic jam on that motherfucker. It's a traffic jam in this motherfucker. And she had a kid before, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or did she? I don't know. I mean, I don't see a kid on her page, so maybe she didn't have a kid before. But she's having this man's child. Yeah, okay. So she didn't have a kid before. So this is her first child. The first one miscarried. The second one, she's having complications now. We wish the best for her. But like I said, all them years in the club, drinking, getting lit, shaking ass, getting BBLs, whatever. I mean, your shit is done. Your womb is like R. Kelly is fighting for his motherfucking life. I mean, damn. All because of life choice and life decisions. This is a reality. Or maybe it's just purely genetic. Maybe it's just purely genetic with her. But either way, you think you have something guaranteed. You think that somehow your life is going to go exactly how you want it to go without even planning. See, this is what these modern women do. And then we'll move on to the next story. They think their life is going to go a certain way, but they don't plan. Let's keep going.
Woman right now, while Marissa is pressed, stressed, and dealing with premature contractions, ready to bring a baby into a world for a man that does not even like her. Janiyah, first baby at the age of 18, a product of an abusive relationship with rapper NBA Youngboy, who is now on his 11th child, by the way. Tattooed his name on her face, and not even a year after giving birth is in an on and off again situationship with NBA player DeJounte Murray, who is alleged to have threatened to leak some of her personal pictures. Gets a tattoo of his name on her chest, and then gets it covered up in the midst of rumored cheating allegations with his first baby mama, Imani Nicole. Both Imani and DeJounte deny it, but Janiyah broke up with him anyways because she, quote unquote, didn't know what to believe. Gets back with DeJounte, tattoos his name for a second time on her arm, and then brings another baby into the equation.
Wow.
23 with 2 kids.
I mean, now at this point, yeah, okay, he's just having kids just to say fuck it. I mean, but whose fault is at this point? Sheesh. She's just lining up. I mean, you could call it love, whatever. It could be a combination of love and the bag.
It's 2 baby fathers and no ring. And Megan Denise in a toxic situationship with NFL player Von Miller, the same man who bragged on Instagram about how he couldn't wait to get her pregnant, only to get her pregnant and then harass her into getting an abortion when their relationship hit the rocks. And when she refuses to do what he wants her to do with her body, he prays that she has a miscarriage. Tattoo Von's name on her chest within their first year of the relationship, only to get it covered up before she gives birth to the child that he didn't want, just to go back to Von after all this and get pregnant again. 3 kids in total, 2 with Von and 1 from a previous relationship.
And let's rewind this. And I believe she's actually older than him as well. Megan Denise is older than Von Miller as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that she has a miscarriage. Tattoo Von's name on her.
So he prayed she had a miscarriage. She's obviously a manufactured bitch. She got tattoos all over her body. She even has his football number tattooed on her. I mean, these hoes are fucking retarded. I mean, literally. She literally is. I mean, these bitches are literally brain dead. It makes no sense. And this is the same shit we was dealing with in high school. These bitches was doing the same shit in high school. So she gets Vonnie tattooed on her titties, which, okay, all the tattoos, you look stupid with all the tattoos. You look like a fucking bathroom stall. how many times do I have to tell y'all? Tattoos are for men. They're not for women. Okay. Straight up. It is what it is. You can hate me for saying that. Tattoos are for men. But anyway, she looks like a marked up bathroom stall, and she has Von's name tattooed on her titties. Now look what she decides to get it covered up with, and then she still ends up going back to him. Look at what she covered it up with.
Her chest within their first year of the relationship, only to get it covered up before she gives birth to.
Oh my fucking God. This this abnormal heart, and then she covered up his football numbers with a cross. Okay, baby, we know you ain't no Christian, but this abnormal looking ass heart, what the fuck? That shit look ugly as hell. It's a heart going on fucking balloon. This bitch having a balloon release on her titties.
To the child that he didn't want, just to go back to Von after all this and get pregnant again. 3 kids in total, 2 with Von and 1 from a previous relationship, not a marriage in sight. Woo. And yet y'all love to crucify Lori Harvey, child.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Lori Harvey. She did come from a good home. And one thing that she did learn is, yeah, I'm going to have my fun. I'm going to get ran through. I'm going to fuck around. I'm going to get slutted out. But I'm not going to have a child by a man that I don't want to. She's selectively choosing the man that she has a child with. And that is strategic on her part. If you are going to hoe around, I mean, you gotta keep it rolling.
Ladies, we need pathway number 1 all day, every day. Pathway number 1 all day, every day. A man should not be able to put a baby in you that easy. I don't care how much you love him. I don't care how good the relationship is going. Women take all of the risk when it comes to childbirth. Why would you want to gamble with your future like that? Until a man hasn't married you, not said that he's going to marry you, until a man has actually taken you down that aisle, if you are sexually active with him, why would you want to do it without a condom and the proper preventative measures in place?
It's called child support. I don't know why she's acting stupid about this one now. Wild Heart, I mean, it's obvious it's for financial gain.
Why would you want to play baby roulette with a man who has not even proven himself worthy to play it with? To see Black women, Black queens, potentially risking mortality.
Black queens
for Dusties and lacking the awareness to.
And I mean, you're not really risking your mortality if you if you just are living a healthy lifestyle. I mean, yes, there is a risk for sure. There's always a risk, but you can reduce that risk if you live a healthy lifestyle.
To understand that not every man is worth putting your body on the line for, and through the powerful phenomenon that we call giving birth. It made me realize the hard truth that baby mama culture is the worst viral trend that could have ever plagued Black women in the Black community. Bring a baby into this world and figure out the rest later. And although many of these situations are different, they all ring bells of similarity in regards to how important it is for Black women to make intentional, calculated, and conscious decisions about family planning. But more importantly, who we choose to plan our families with. Baby mama culture is beneath Black women. We deserve more than this. Until next time.
Yeah, I mean, that'll never happen. Good luck with that. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. So we're going back in time. We're going back in time. Let's go to the 1970s. See what the Black women were talking about back then, and see if they were still on that type of time, or they were looking for men to help them take care of their kids. Let's get into it.
The feeling of racial pride is not new for many African Americans. With the resurgence of Black awareness and pride, Black men and women face new problems, not only in relation to white society, but to each other in a Black society. Recently, there has been a stream of articles on this subject, and the Chicago Daily Defender, America's largest Black newspaper, began a series some weeks ago on the emergence of the new Black woman. Benny Washington, reporter for the paper, surveyed the Chicago scene to report on how Black men and women believe the revolution in racial pride will affect them and their families, before the sociologists and experts tell us how we are supposed to react.
As a reporter for the Chicago Daily Defender, and as a Black woman married to a Black man, I become deeply aware of the effects of this new Black revolution on the relationship between Black man and Black woman. I see it among my own friends, and I also see it in my home. But the most revealing and the most vocal statements about what the new Black man expects from the new Black woman came when I met with a group of young unmarried friends one Saturday afternoon.
I think that what's happening in America as far as black men, black women is concerned is that there's a revolution within a revolution. We are fighting our own woman. Our woman will not allow us to emerge as black men. No. But our black women who is
So, I mean, even back then, niggas had the victim mindset. And I get it, you know, being so close to civil rights and all that kind of stuff. But saying the women won't let you emerge to be men, I mean, it really isn't. He could have worded that better, because it sounds like you're allowing the women to prevent you from being a man. You know, and I guess I understand what he's talking about with the masculinity and the sisters and whatnot. That's why, I mean, I'm an advocate for IR. It is what it is. IR gang.
has been put in this role of aiding white America, white structure, and castrating the black male has continued doing this. She cannot live with us. It's not that we can't live with her.
Are you blaming us? Are you saying that it's our fault that this happened?
No, I'm not blaming black America women. I just said that I'm blaming the system. They are victims of the system like the black male.
Well, why do you say that we are castrating you? You say that you want to be the leaders. Okay, well, what about the black professional woman? Are you saying that there should be no black professional woman? Are you trying to...
And here's the extreme. Oh, well, you know, you must hate women and you must not think women can work and get jobs and whatnot. And the problem is that there were more incentives going to women than to men. It was just like an uneven, there were uneven benefits for women to get higher education than the men, obviously, for intentional purposes. But at the same time, you have her still, it's almost like she's still just like trying to belittle and dismiss his point, even though I don't agree with his point totally. But, you know, interesting argument.
to deny black women the right to be creative, the right to function?
We're not asking for you to take a back seat.
That's what you
We're
said.
saying that you have got to be astute enough and can view the situation well enough where you just automatically know what your role is and step back. And whenever you want to have that aggressive thing, this is the thing that the young black man today is not going to tolerate. My old man tolerated because his old man tolerated. It came up for years and years and years. But today, the young black man is not going to take it. He's going to be out there as the leader.
White America has used black women to keep the black male in his place. And you're still aiding them by saying, well, we are qualified, we want to work, we can help.
Okay, how are you going to reprogram men so that they don't let us take over what's supposed to be their responsibility? And men that I have had dealings with, they are perfectly willing to sit back and let us do anything we want to.
So you heard what she said. The men that she's dealing with are perfectly willing to, you know, sit back and let her do whatever the fuck she wants to do. Sounds like to me, even in the 1970s, she was dealing with a what? Say it with me, guys. A thug, maxed, alpha simp.
I don't think that you have to reprogram men. I think you have to reprogram women.
No, you have to reprogram the man so that he will forcefully take what belongs to him, because you know women, as long as we can get, we're going to get. And it's
Forcefully take what belongs to him in this Me Too era? Yeah, no thanks. I'm good on that.
It's part of our being. We're going to do anything to you that you let us, whether we want to or not.
You don't want to live on the level of income that I can afford you and love me on the basis of that. You want to always be
I mean, I ain't gonna lie, but Shorty looked like a straight nigga. I mean, could we get some bad bitches in the conversation? Because
to have all those things that's a part of the great middle class white American society, and because I can't deliver these things to you, you say that you are not a man.
I don't measure a man by how much money he can bring home. I measure a man by how he treats me. Whether when I'm tired.
I mean, what type of, let's keep it a buck, what type of man? I mean, it's got to be a low value guy to deal with her. And, you know, with all due respect, but she's not a looker.
And I'm sick and I'm scared. He's there.
For these women, the men are there. But with the feeling of racial pride has come new conflicts and new problems. Across America, they meet to discuss what Black awareness means to their families and to them as Black women of today.
You know, there have been a lot of myths created about the Black family. We all recognize that. And one of the most pernicious myths is the myth of the Black matriarch, you know, and this whole concept. And I think this is one of the reasons that the Black community reacted so negatively to the Moynihan report, because we know that that's not true.
I mean, I don't see I don't see what she's talking about as the Black matriarch being a myth. It's really not a myth. If you look at all these single mother-led households, and then in government, you have a lot of Black women getting the jobs over Black men. And then when the Black men do get the jobs, there's some fucking pussy ass Black dude who's getting pushed around by either his wife or another woman in office. I mean, the Black matriarchy is a real thing. Does it affect every individual in their personal life? No. Can you run a patriarchal household if you are a Black man with a Black woman? Yeah. But does it take the right pieces of the puzzle to do so? Yeah. And calculation and strategy, which quite frankly, it supersedes, like, the effort to put into trying to do that supersedes the effort to, like, genuinely find true love and not have to do that. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I have to teach the woman how to be a woman, then it's almost like it's not even worth it, because I know that there are women who are already gonna, you know, be a woman, you know?
True. It was not like the Black woman has not been a matriarch in the sense that it has been defined thus far. And thank God research, and I hope Black research is being done now to reverse that kind of thing. In fact, the Black woman has been a woman at the head of a household, not by choice, but by necessity. And more...
I mean, everything is a choice. I get it, you know, by necessity, some nigga left you and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that definitely happens. And it was happening a lot back then, and it's still happening a lot now. But at the same time, are they going through the proper channels to choose the men that they end up dealing with? I'm telling you right now, Thug Max Alpha Simps are winning, and it's at a scary rate. It's at a scary rate. And you can't make this type of stuff up. And you see who they're getting pregnant by, and you're just like, wow, you fucked up.
Often, that's right. And more often than not, she is not a strong, matriarchal, aggressive, domineering figure. She is a woman in search of a man.
I mean, maybe not back then, but nowadays, shit.
But this story has not been told.
The prejudiced society created what we have now. So that's what we were. Okay, we have a revolution going on. What kind of the revolution?
We're in an evolution. I think the revolution is yet to come.
Yeah, it's to come.
Well,
this thing
we
keep tossing the word revolution around lightly. Everybody.
Actress Val Ward performs the works of our Black poets and dramatists. For her, Black awareness is not revolutionary, but the very foundation of her marriage. Val's husband, Francis Ward, talks of the struggles of the Black family in the past and the obstacles that lie ahead.
It's extremely important for Black history and culture to be transmitted from generation to generation. And the best way, the most effective way that this has always been done is through the family, acting as the primary unit of social organization. And I think one reason why it has not been done with Black people is because of the destruction done to our family life. So this certainly has to be one function of the Black marriage, to begin to reemphasize and to pick up the thread of Afro-American history and culture that has been left off generations ago when Africans were sold into slavery, when the family unit was purposely destroyed. Part of the obligation of being black is to make absolutely certain that whoever has any kind of control or jurisdiction over your kid, is not bringing him into conflict with the kinds of things we teach. We try to instill in them here in the home.
Most middle-class homes, quote middle-class homes, like I don't even get caught up in that bag, you go into will have some copy of anybody, any white artist, I don't even have to name anybody, instead of the works of black artists. I think it starts, especially that identity part, the books, the kinds of books. All of these things start in the home rather than complaining about them being in the schools at this point.
Unless we're absolutely certain of how that teacher is handling them, then we may have to assume that whole responsibility. We may have to pull them out of school ourselves, and do all the educating ourselves.
Say, for instance, when they say to my child to draw.
And that's kind of what they're doing now. They pull them out of school, but they ain't doing no educating.
Last year, Rhonda painted Abraham Lincoln brown and she was put in the corner, We had to go up to the school and deal with that. They must be respectable to their peers in school. And what we do, we handle that. We don't say, you jump up, you curse that teacher out, or you say it doesn't exist. But they see us at that school knocking on the door. You have to be in there. Either we're going to control, their minds here, or at least give them the choice.
A lot of this is new to us, and a lot of these things we're grappling with, and we don't want to give anybody the impression that we have the answer to everything.
No, let me cut you off again. People go around talking about hate. We really don't have time to hate because, it goose up the bag. We're loving ourselves. Mm-hmm. This might bring around a lot of other different things.
To be black means to love. It's got nothing to do with having to hate anybody.
It does determine, though, Francis, it has nothing to do with hate again. It's love. That we might have to do certain things to protect that love.
It may bring us into conflict with somebody.
Necessary to protect that love.
Finally.
I mean, these motherfuckers are insane. We gonna do anything necessary to protect that love. I mean, the fuck does that mean? Here's the thing. You could easily keep the family intact by picking a guy who's going to stay. Having your family vet the guy. Simple things like that. Marry before you carry. But they talking about revolutions and dismantling this and fighting for some love. Like, bruh, the conversation is between you and the person you choose to procreate with. That's it.
I asked Francis about the standards of today's black man as compared with those of 20 years ago.
Standards which white society had projected. I think these standards were that he had to become successful according to the white mode. He had to get a good job. He had to buy a good car. He had to move to the suburbs. He had to rear a good family that went to church every Sunday, that did everything that the typical good American family was supposed to do. And I don't think the black man necessarily is addicted to that notion. I think he sees the falsity of it. I think he sees the total hypocrisy of it. I think he wants to rear a tightly knit family, but not for the purposes that white society says. He doesn't want to rear a family for any sham purposes, just to fulfill some false ethic. But he wants to rear a good family in order to have his children strong, reared in his own image perhaps, and to transmit, most importantly, to transmit the values which he is learning to his children and to try to ensure.
And what are these values that we're instilling in the youth nowadays, especially? It's the op culture. It's the drill culture. These are the values being instilled.
Sure, as best he can, that his children will transmit those same values to their children, and have the same transmission repeated from generation to generation.
Listen to me. I am a woman. Black, that is. And there is but one thing which brings tears to my eyes, and that is to hear man, woman, or child Stand up with strength and say, I'm proud. I'm black. And that's beautiful.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the next clip, 1973, talking about welfare and fatherless homes. And this will be the last clip. We'll conclude it, and then I actually have a longer clip that we'll break down in my part 2 of this series, how baby mama culture became accepted in the Black Communitah. So I will have a part 2, guys. It's going to be epic. The report that I'm going to bring you next is going to be from I'm not going to give the year because then somebody going to go grab the video and do it, or maybe somebody has done the video or reacted to it before, but it's going to be from the 80s, guys, and it's going to be telling as to why we are in the situation we are now. This is 3 years later after that report that I just showed you guys. So let's get into it.
CBS reports. What are we doing to our children? With CBS News correspondent Daniel Shore.
13 miles from Paul Bullard's home is a public housing project in familiar red brick, Perry Homes. It is like most such projects in most big cities. And cemented into the red brick are a series of public policies that work against the children of the poor. Because housing for the poor is scarce, the 1,100 apartments hold not the officially registered 6,000, but with unofficial residents, relatives, and friends, more like 8,000. Because mothers travel up to 4 hours a day to work in downtown office buildings or suburban homes, their children are left to care for each other or for themselves, and drug abuse is rampant. Because family planning measures have lagged, there are many teenage mothers.
Do you find that...
You heard what he said. Drug abuse is rampant. Could that contribute to the mortality rates of pregnant Black women? I think so. Drug usage, alcohol usage. A lot of people in the community take pride in being zooted up, booted up, geeked up, all this shit.
There is an incidence of young girls becoming pregnant?
Yes, we have a high rate of that too.
What about what age?
Listen, she's going to say the average age that she personally, anecdotally sees. This isn't a data point or anything like that. She goes, oh, well, Jaquavius, you making up fake data because you saying that, the average age of pregnancy is 15 in the community. We just going to listen to what Miss Mary Sanford has to say. Okay. Because she's the one working these streets here. And she will kindly tell us what's going on in the community in 1973.
Used to say age 14.
Woo! Age 14. She said she used to say age 14. Hopefully the age has increased. But and this is in 1973. She's seeing 14-year-old girls getting pregnant, getting their back blown out at 14. Run it back.
Girls becoming pregnant?
Yes, we have a high rate of that too.
What about what age?
I used to say age 14, but I think I'm having to back up and say age 12.
Wow. So it went from age 14 to age 12 is when you're starting to see young girls getting pregnant. Who's getting these young girls pregnant? At 12 and 14. And we like to talk about, dare I say, pedophilia in the white community, right? Oh, white people, they be touching kids. I mean, black people touch kids too, y'all. Sorry to break it to you, but this shit been happening for a long time. And we like to say, oh, the Catholic priests or the Jewish clergymen or whatnot. But what about the street nigga? What about the plug? What about the shooter? Because, I mean, let's keep it a buck. If your morals are so low that you will kill somebody in cold blood and not give a fuck, I mean, what's fucking a kid? Honestly, if that's where your barometer for morality is, like a lot of street niggas like to act like, shit, I mean, I'm a killer, I'm a street nigga, I'll bust my gun, but shit, I ain't gonna fuck no kid. Like, bro, I mean, respectfully, with all due respect, and I mean, it is what it is. I'm just saying, as far as the severity of a crime, killing someone is a lot more serious than, and I'm not saying that it's right at all. You know, it's fucking horrible, it's disgusting, but killing somebody is a lot more serious than, you know, I mean, it sounds horrible when it comes. I'm not, honestly, I don't even want to say it because I know they're gonna clip it up. But genuinely, if you objectively look at it, crime for crime, pound per pound, as far as the severity of the crime, it sucks to say, it's a horrible thing, but killing somebody, taking somebody's life is, and taking somebody's innocence, especially a child, is a horrible thing, especially a young girl. I'm not saying that it's okay. What I am saying is I'm trying to compare the barometer of ethics and morality, because you have young black men who have no problem sliding on ops and killing other black men in cold blood, but then they're like flabbergasted when somebody rapes a kid. And I'm just like, dude, how are you gonna be a aspect of moral authority in this conversation when you're okay with sliding on ops and killing other black men? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Let's keep going.
Because the poor are shortchanged on education, it may take 2 years to get testing for a child with learning problems. And the Perry Homes schools have reading levels among the lowest in the city. Because Perry Homes was planned on a minimum budget, there are few places for children to play. Because of the same kind of planning, Perry Homes has no doctor, no dentist, no pharmacy. Nearby, there is
It's a doctor, dentist, pharmacy desert. Doctor, dentist, and pharmacy desert.
well baby clinic, but no sick baby clinic. And the sick must travel 12 miles to wait for attention at Grady Memorial Hospital. And partly because of the general rule that welfare is cut off if there is a man in the house, fathers are often driven away so that mother and children can eat.
85% of the head of household is a woman, because most of the men who...
Okay, so listen up. 85% of the head of household. 85%. This is 1973. So the first sister that we listened to, she was like, baby mama culture is beneath black women. Shh. Doing her little ASMR fucking poetic justice shit. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to Wild Heart Waves. Very good content creator. Y'all go subscribe to her. She's actually really intelligent woman. I don't agree with everything that she says, but I do like her take, and I do enjoy listening to her videos or podcasts because they're so soothing and soft, and I don't know. But I like it though. But anyways, like I was saying, she said, oh, baby mama culture is beneath black women. Ha ha, rasha, rashe, and then snapping and shit. And then you have Miss Mary Sanford, who's keeping it a binuck with us, which most sisters would not keep it a binuck with us like this nowadays, because they would want to present the best foot forward of the Communitah and make it seem like we've made this drastic progress when we're kind of like that hamster on the wheel, right? Yes, we made progress in certain aspects, but not in the aspects that really count. Okay. So she's saying 85% of the households in the Communitah are ran by single moms. So let's get into
woman, because most of the men who should be in the household, they cannot make a decent living. And of course, it is better to know that a child will be fed 12 months out of the year than 3 months, which is during the summer when construction work, you can make a decent living.
So basically, there are no jobs for black men. So the black men can't make a decent living. Therefore, the women are being the heads of households and they're getting a check.
The man in the house rule was written to prevent welfare cheating, to make sure that aid to families with dependent children would go only to families headed by mothers. But the effect of the man in the house rule is to create for children an atmosphere of investigation and surveillance. And thus, the welfare system in its operation turns out to be a system to make life harder for children.
The welfare system helps the disintegration of the American family.
And they literally knew this in 1973, and you have people nowadays who are still advocating for the welfare system. They knew everything. Like, they knew all the shit that's happening today. They already knew the solutions for, like, there is a solution. Yes, there is. And you can argue that this is systematic for sure, 100%. But there were already solutions. We already knew the solutions, but the women, I mean, I'm not saying all the women voted for this, but I mean, what do we always say? Hey, you voted for this. They genuinely are like voting for this. No cap. Not in 1973, of course, but certain measures were taken in order to dismantle the black household. And now the brothers can't get no work, and she's getting that check, and they can't have the father in the home, which is, I mean, I get it, no welfare cheating, whatever, but it is a crazy ass rule. It's crazy ass rule.
Offers money to families if the fathers will leave them and stay away. In that sense, undoing the very stability of the family and taking away one of the two parents the children, of course, need. And what I have seen, I'm afraid to say, all over the country is that the legal system works against the best kind of home for these children. We don't encourage parents to be at home with the children. We don't encourage mothers to feel that they can find their destiny as mothers. We take away, in many of the most vulnerable homes, fathers from those homes. We herd foster children together in institutions rather than trying to find decent homes for them. We don't tap the resources we have in communities and with respect to older people so that they can help out vulnerable homes. We don't sanction and encourage and support in every way, morally, psychologically, and financially, the dignity and integrity of the home. And in the worst of it is that the homes that are most vulnerable are the homes that are least supported by the policies of local, state, and federal governments. And no wonder then, out of these more vulnerable neighborhoods, we get an endless cycle of troubled, delinquent, wayward youth.
Okay, so he's breaking it down. But so what are the main issues here? The men could not get employment for whatever reason. Why could the men not get employment? I would assume employment discrimination, right? Or just straight up, some dudes was just like, fuck it, ain't no point to try in this white man's world. I'm sure there was a percentage of that as well. And then there was another percentage who wanted to work, but the employment was seasonal. So I guess they were waiting for the summer. And I don't know, because it's like, okay, if you can't find work in your town, you obviously need to travel. And yeah, you may not be able to spend that much time with your family, but you still got to bring that bacon home. So it's a catch-22, right? Because if you travel for work, then you are a deadbeat. So maybe that is where the deadbeat shit is coming from, because if you a brother and you can't get work in your city based off of maybe discrimination or other factors in play, then, or the work is just seasonal, then you kind of have to leave where you're at. And you could make the argument, hey, take your family, boom, boom, bap. But then again, that's more weight and more burden, where you could be traveling alone and bringing the majority of the funds back to the crib. I mean, it's an impossible situation. I feel blessed that I was born in 1995 and don't have to worry about these things. But I mean, there's definitely real issues here at play. But at the end of the day, it has brought us to the point that we are at in today's world. All in all, extremely interesting.
Who grow up even more and become the lawbreakers of our society. Now, I don't know how you break the cycle except by starting out with young children.
Consider daycare. You would think that certainly shows concern for children, but let's look more closely.
I mean, look, even in the difference of culture, watch what this young brother does. He instinctually pulls his pants up. Hold up, run it back.
Starting out with young children.
Consider daycare.
Look, his pants start falling down. He pulls them up.
You would think that certainly shows concern for children, but let's look more closely.
I mean, there's a difference in culture, and what is that? That's 50 years ago. So 50 years ago, instead of intentionally sagging, the kids were pulling their pants up.
The Perry Homes area, with its thousands of children, has only one daycare center.
Fascinating.
For 107 children between the ages of 2.5 and 5. 75% of its money comes from a federal government apparently less interested in the children than in freeing welfare mothers for work, and woefully inadequate even to that end. Elsewhere in Atlanta, in schools like Cook Elementary, the state of Georgia has tried setting up daycare centers, but federal support is drying up. When we were here, there were 158 children, 6 days to 6 years old. Since then, the number has been cut back to 89. 12 other Atlanta schools have had to eliminate infants and toddlers from their daycare plans. And that will make it harder for mothers of the very young to go to work or to school. Atlanta is typical of what is happening around the country. Model daycare centers that remain models. Good as they may be, scarce as they are, such daycare centers are geared more to a work ethic than a child ethic. That has been the history of daycare in this country. Crash programs in time of emergency like war to free mothers for work, and swiftly wound down when the emergency was over. Now daycare is billed as an answer to the welfare emergency, written into legislation that would force mothers to go to work. Congress took a different view with a child development bill that would provide more comprehensive services, and not just for welfare children. President Nixon vetoed that bill as too costly, as going too far towards what he called communal control of children.
Yeah, I mean, this shit is just retarded. Like, why are you handing your kids over to the state? It just doesn't make sense, man.
For the working poor, too poor for private nurseries, but too rich for federal subsidy, care of children is left to their own makeshift arrangements. This is a project set up in a New York church, unlicensed, paid for by their parents, with a non-professional staff, assisted by mothers giving a day a month each. Many unofficial daycare centers are much worse. Child warehousing, the specialists call them, but those we could not film. In these improvised facilities, the children must go down 2 steep flights of stairs to visit the church's only lavatory and for lunch, and up 2 flights again for naps on the church floor. And the parents of these are lucky to have found even this solution to their problem. Fewer than 10% of the children of the nation's working poor are in organized daycare programs of any kind.
Wow. Less than 10% in organized daycare. So the rest of the kid, I mean, you got 90% of the kids in makeshift daycare arrangements.
Fewer than 2% are in programs good enough to be called child development. In Detroit, to meet the growing demand that society ignores, a married couple runs a child care center as a profit-making business. It is the only center in the city that takes infants as young as 6 weeks. It also has an elementary school that keeps children until 6 in the evening. For children, perhaps too long a day away from home. For working parents, helpful to know their children are off the streets.
Marquita put her beginning sound. Look at Marquita's work.
Damn, you had Marquitas in the 1970s? Damn.
Hell nah, bro. That shit crazy. I thought Marquitas was like a 2000 name. They had Marquitas in the 70s. Fuck. Hold up. She said, look at Marquita's work. Little smart ass Marquita.
From home. For working parents, helpful to know their children are off the streets.
Marquita put her beginning sound. Look at Marquita's work.
Mrs. Erlene Morris, the director, complains of harassment from state authorities who charge that she has more children than her license permits. But her center is popular in the neighborhood because it serves a need that no one else fills. For one thing, it permits teenage mothers to go to school and to come after school to get their children.
How you been doing? I know it. How you doing? She ate about 11:15 and took a bottle at 2:30. She's due to have her medicine at 4.
Bye-bye.
All these damn kids, man. I mean, I just, if you just get married to the guy before you have the kid or don't have the kid unless you're married, a lot of this would be solved. But wow. And it's only on steroids now. And instead of like these pass your kid to the daycare thing, instead of pass your kids to the daycare, it's just let them go out into the streets and listen to Chief Keef and NBA Youngboy.
She had a nice day. I shall find some people. Do you want her bag? Okay, wait.
The center boasts that it is the closest thing to Momma, but it bypasses the question of whether that is close enough. Dr. Robert Coles.
I don't think anything can replace parental care. Nothing in the world is a substitute for the affection and also, I might add, the discipline that children need as young children and older children in the course of growing up. And this is needed all the time by the child, and the child needs a mother and a father. And I think the day care center, at its best, might be an additional institution which would help out families in such a way that parents could be better parents, rather than be an institution that, in a sense, takes over by default and treats the child as, again, a cipher or a number, rather than a human being who needs particular attention from a particular individual.
Oh, we got a troll in here. Dream Doll says, ask your grandpappy, who was in his 20s, why he didn't marry your grandma, who was 12 and 14, when he started getting her pregnant. I don't know if you're talking to me specifically, but my grandparents were married, and they didn't get pregnant when they were 12. But nice try.
To the limited extent that child care can offer mothers an option rather than a mandate, it runs into the whim of governmental red tape. Nowhere better illustrated than in the daycare center of Detroit's Jeffries Housing Project. There is one busy section for children of welfare mothers, backed by welfare money. In another wing of the same housing project, the working poor managed to get money for their own child care center from another government program, Model Cities, another department, Housing and Urban Development. That program has restrictions. Model Cities will pay for hardware, but not for operation or staff. Operation comes out to $28.50 a week per child. And the low income...
So Dream Doll, she's... So when we were talking about the average age of the mother was between 12 and 14, that was an anecdotal number. So that was from that woman's own personal experience. That wasn't necessarily that wasn't like a data point that was on average. Okay, the average age. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I have a misunderstanding in chat. She said I'm speaking generally when I say grandpappy and them. I'm talking about the older generation. Oh, okay.
Okay, I thought she was like taking shots at your boy. I was like, God damn, I'm catching strays. Anyways, continue. Y'all do what y'all want in the chat.
Working families cannot afford that. Their problem is to get help, but it's hard to get help for the working poor. Months after this center was completed last May, Model City said it was still trying. But when we were there last, 6 months after completion, a fully equipped center where 60 children could have learned and played and relieved their parents' minds stood silent and wasted. We have been saying that poor children who depend on the benevolence of public policies suffer from policies that are far from benevolent. But the well-to-do, remote from such dependence, they have their own ways of harming their children.
I've worked with middle-class families who lack all kinds of things, not money, not social position, not professional attainment, but have a sense of estrangement, a sense of uprootedness, a sense of not belonging to any particular community, a feeling that they're at the mercy of the next job move, they're at the mercy of the next economic cycle, so to speak, that requires them to go here or there. And also, I think, there's a deep and abiding sense of aloneness, which they don't know, the parents don't know whom they can talk with and whom they really trust. And I think that if children are deprived of the things they need, both physically and psychologically at a young age, that there comes a point in which they cannot be redeemed. And I would use that word redeemed in all of its psychological and spiritual implications. They become hopelessly thwarted, stymied, atrophied. The heart dies, the mind becomes filled with all of the hate or fear the child has experienced, and multiply this child by many child, and we have many sins. And multiply this enough, and I think you have national sins, not just the individual sins that we all commit from day to day, but a national failure of determination and
Wow. So this man, he said a national sin. Woo, he ain't playing. He ain't playing.
ethical failure, and in many respects, a slow kind of suicide, in which one generation permits another generation in significant numbers to be hurt and killed, I would say, in spirit.
So that was the program, guys. Woo! Let's see what y'all talking about in the chat. Shout out to Natty Witt. He says we need the funky ass suit. I got you guys at the end of the video. Romero Dubois says now Dream Doll just wildin'. She got the Sin G points going. Oh shit. J Paul says what is it like in Africa? Isn't this similar there? Kind of reverting to biology. Dream Doll says 12 and 14 was just from what she could see, but generally speaking, the mothers were teenagers or young generally. They ain't say that about the daddies, though. Yeah, that is a good point. So ask the daddies why they ain't marry the woman they got pregnant. They the ones who controlled marriage. Well, a child can't give consent. So if the daddies were, I'm assuming that these fathers of these young girls were older. I'm not saying, I don't know how much older, but I would say probably in the late teens, maybe even to the early 20s. I don't know. It was definitely a different time. I mean, and that's an uncomfortable conversation, but it needs to be had. How old were the daddies? For sure, you know? But like I said, they probably couldn't legally marry them because a child can't give consent. So that's probably that's what I'm guessing. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Somebody said welfare is cut off if there's a father in the house and women would rather just drive men away. Why can't they read? They claim slave owners wouldn't let them write. Do they expect racist gliders to also teach them to read? Okay. So very interesting points from everybody. That's pretty much it. So this is part one. This is part one of how baby mama culture became accepted in the Black community. I'm pretty exhausted from just that. The next part that I have for you guys is going to be one super long video, and it's a docu-series, and it's very interesting, full of different debates from the 1970s on up to the early 90s and late 80s. So it's going to be super, super interesting. Shout out to Product Cook County. He says you're going to hop on Axe Stream tonight. I might. It just depends on when my girl gets here. She pulling up right now. So maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But anyways, I appreciate everybody for joining the stream. Shout out to Dream Doll. Shout out to Distance Lights. Shout out to Product Cook County. Shout out to Natty Witt. Shout out to Romero Dubois, J. Paul, ATR. All the people who are at Anthony, Huber, Johnny Reb. Let's see. Spec Streaming. All the people who are active in the chat, I really appreciate it. But you already know what it is, man. It's your boy, Black Gen Z Mindset, a.k.a. BGZM News 17, a.k.a. Jenquavius Jackson. And we are going to send it to Jenquavius Jackson to take us away, guys. I appreciate all of you guys' support. Y'all already know I am demonetized, so hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal. There is no super trap, so hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal. Show your support. Hit that GoFundMe to support alternative Black media. And we are out of here.
You're not my dad! You guys want to hear something? Ugly ass fucking...
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/BlackGenZMindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the Communitah, by the Communitah, I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dogs. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo.
Whoa.
Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit on.
That's that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
Aw, look at Daddy.
He's not my dad, Mom.
Really, Ava?
He's not. My dad's in jail and I miss him.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
So it is what it is.